You're going to have to do something more eventually, said a man with a very nice suit. Thyme, with his scruffy white hair, shook his head. But that's abominable, Harry. Harry, the nice-suited man, laughed. Of course it is. It has to be Thyme. Thyme and Harry were the only ones sitting in a well-decorated office room. Harry sat at the mahogany desk in the expensive black comfortable-looking chair, while Thyme sat in a plain folding chair. No padding had been applied to this seat. If anything, Thyme took a mental note of how uncomfortable the chair was, as if it has been specifically selected and altered even to solely increase this thing's discomfort level. Harry snapped his fingers to get Thyme's attention. Thyme looked up from his chair. You need to find a way to charge your magic, because if you can't, then the council will perceive you as a weakness. If that happens, you know what will happen to you. Thyme shuddered at the thought of never-ending torture just to fuel the magic of some powerful spellcaster. Our secrets are powerful, and even though you've proven capable of keeping those secrets, we still need you useful. Harry stood up and walked around his desk to be closer to Thyme. He placed his hand on his shoulder. Listen, man, I believe in you. So tell me what you've done to charge your dark gift. Thyme averted his eyes. Troll? Excuse me? Harry slowly removed his hand. Troll the internet? I know what trolling is. So you make people feel bad online? Harry frowned. That's not all I do. Thyme quickly looked back up with confidence. Harry turned around, walked to his bookshelf while sighing. Mathematically... Harry picked up a random book to appear to examine it. In truth, he paid no mind to it. Our magic is far easier to charge than their magic. The angels? Fairies, Harry corrected. Never give them any respect. Mock them, fight them, and hinder them whenever you can. We are better than them. Yes, the fairies with their angelic wings and majestic everything. Their magic is better. Harry dropped the book. Better? With a metaphorical fire in his eyes, he spun around, staring at Thyme. Young man, don't you ever give them any sort of compliment. But... Thyme was cut off by something invisible clutching his throat. Harry raised one of his hands. A glow surrounded his open fist. As his hand rose, so did Thyme from his chair into the air. I am going easy on you. You know that, don't you? I show you mercy, even now. To even allow you to talk to me as an equal, even for this brief moment, is a major favor I have bestowed on you. They locked eyes. He saw the fear in Thyme's eyes. He let go of him, allowing the boy to plop back in his chair. Yes, those fairies look great, huh? Their side looks so appealing, too. They look like heroes, especially since their magic can only be charged by performing good acts. Their magic can only have good outcomes. Meanwhile, our magic can only be charged with horrendous immoral acts. Our magic can only have evil outcomes. So we are clearly the baddies, right? Thyme said nothing, nor did he make any indication to reply. You need to get past this whole morality issue. Stop being a fucking pussy. Thyme was rubbing his neck. But what can I do? Surely I can still be useful even if I don't murder people. Harry relaxed and smiled, then sat back down in his chair. He talked as he put his feet onto his desk. Ah, yes, indeed you can. I've never murdered anyone, and I find ways to charge my magic. I see you hate that chair you're in. It is the most mild thing I do. Even now, your discomfort charges my magic. Not enough to lift you in the air like I just did. No, at most I could do something like change a traffic light, and that would take at least a week of having people sit in that thing. Your trolling is equal to that chair. I bet you couldn't even change your hair color. But our magic can only have evil outcomes. What's so evil about changing my hair color? No idea. Perhaps to repulse others. Anyways, give that a try, would you? Change my hair color? But my magic is so finite. That's my point. If you could do that, I'll tell the council to give you another week to be useful. Humor me on this, okay? I've spent weeks psychologically breaking people down on the internet. Do it now, Harry demanded with a low, final tone. Thyme sighed. Raising his fist, his finger glowed, a thin, faint glow gray. His hair altered from gray to brown, then completely fell off. Thyme immediately touched his head where hair once was. My hair! Harry, without moving from his seat, clapped his hands. Well done, lad. You've demonstrated that you are not a waste of our time. Now you have 1 week to do more. But my hair... Oh, well, I'll make sure you get it back, okay? With a flick of his wrist, magic exited Harry's fingertips. The hair on the floor vanished. Thyme gagged. He clutched his stomach in pain. With a humorous laugh, Harry waved his hand again. Now get out of here. I have to make the next client wait 20 more minutes before I can see them. Thyme slowly got up, still holding his stomach. He wobbled out of the room. The waiting room was full of people, all annoyed at having to wait so long to see their lawyer. On the way out, Thyme saw the familiar plaque. The law offices of Harry and Harry. Walking down the street with his hands in his pockets, contemplating his situation, Thyme's phone buzzed. Taking the stolen phone out, the message read, Sister, hey, don't forget about lunch today. You're late. He sighed and returned the phone to his pocket. Rachael sat across from Thyme. They were at the same restaurant they always went to. You're a good man, Thyme, she said. Am I, though? She ignored the remark. So, how have you been doing? She held up a cup of tea, preparing to take a sip. Same. She sipped, then shook her head. That's a shame. I worry about you, Thyme. Why don't you just kill me like your kind want you to do, Rachael? She half smiled, putting the cup down. Her hand touched his. He pulled away. My brother, I couldn't kill you even if I wanted to. You are not evil. So, if I were evil, you wouldn't kill me then? That's not what I meant. Look, my magic won't work on you, see? She pointed a glowing finger at him. The magic fizzled into nothing. There, nothing. See, you aren't evil. And if I were evil, what would you have done? Incinerated you? She casually said. What did that magic cost you just now? Her eyes brightened as she began to brag of her good deeds. Well, 2 weeks ago, I took in a homeless man. He has been cleaned up, has a job, and has been sober the whole time. I'm trying to arrange a visit with his kids. The magic you just wasted was charged by all of that? She nodded in a triumphant, happy, almost naive fashion. Meanwhile, my magic would require something grotesque and abominable. Should I ever want to do anything beyond a card trick? The happiness dropped from her face as she took in the depressed sight of her brother. How is work going? Still a programmer? And dirt poor too. The warlocks pull me to charge my magic. You pull me to be docile. Work strains and drains all of my free time. And all of this for what exactly? Just to be a good man? Thyme, you're... His face scowled in frustration. I'm what? Useless. You know I am. I was going to say you're scaring me. He shook his head, then stood up and let out a quiet sound of frustration, trying to avoid attention. I can't even vent without you or your kind thinking I'm about to commit an atrocity. He stormed out. Wait, Thyme! He did not listen and was already gone. A man walked over to her wearing a nice white suit. Well? He's still immune to our magic, she said. Make sure it stays that way. The man walked away. Thyme returned home. He half-slammed the door in his studio apartment. A small cluster of roaches, along with a rat, scoured past him, giving him no mind or care. They didn't skitter away as pests tend to do. Even the vermin know I'm a joke. He sat down at his makeshift desk, consisting of a cheap fold-out table and chair. He clutched his face, frustrated and angry. The wallpaper was torn. A constant drip fell from the ceiling into a bucket, and the carpet was torn at random places from animals that were no longer present. With an attempt to take his mind off of his plight, he looked to the monitor. The black screen reflected himself and something standing behind. Thyme jerked his head back, looking to see no such thing. He shook his head, dismissing the previous sight. Looking back at the screen, it showed nothing out of the ordinary. No boogeyman behind him, only a black screen turned blue as his computer booted up. Before the screen was finished booting up, there was a loud pounding at his door. A letter was slid through the mail slot that only hung by one of the 1.5 screws. Though I say letter, it was more of a note. Thyme picked it up, unfolding it. The back of the paper said in bold red diagonal letters crossing from corner to corner, Eviction Notice. He crumpled the paper, tossing it into the already filled trash can. It rolled onto the ground. Life not going so swell, Thyme? Said a voice behind him. Thyme jumped up from his chair, startled by the intruder. A man wearing a black suit and red tie was leaning against the wall next to an open window. The light from the overhead lamp was half shown on his face. His right eye was illuminated by the lights as a plain brown eye, while his left eye, which remained in the darkness, was bright red. He stepped fully into the light. The red eye converted to brown as the light touched it. It seems you haven't been meeting the expectations of anyone except maybe your sister and her kind. You've been following me. And? The intruder said. Thyme let out a sigh of defeat. He slumped back into his chair, half falling down in the process. Are you Rachael the half-demon? The man smiled. I am glad to hear I still have a reputation. I do not involve myself with lowly warlocks too much these days, but things have been quiet for 12 years now. You are the youngest and newest warlock, you know. I know, and you have done nothing. Everyone keeps telling me that. That must change. Everyone keeps telling me that too. Raziel frowned instantly, changing his expression to annoyance. Boy, I do not canter to incredulity. You will show me the respect I am due. Thyme was too tired and defeated to show an overabundance of fear at this point. Or you will choke and torture me. You wouldn't be the first to have done so today, sir. Raziel laughed as he leaned forward and looked down, looming over Thyme. My dear little warlock, I have not needed to torture anyone for over 300 years. He grinned. His teeth were sharp, or maybe only had the appearance of sharpness, like an optical illusion that Thyme could not decipher. I torture for the sheer joy of it. Thyme shrank down in his chair. Even through his exhausting day, fear still surged forward, taking control. At that, Raziel pulled back, satisfied that respect had been given. Granted, it was in the form of fear, but this half-demon to this half-demon that was splitting hairs. "This is the part where I am supposed to tell you something akin to..." Raziel's voice changed to a sarcastic and mocking tone, mocking his own words. "You are the chosen one. We have so much in store for you. You have a bright future ahead of you. My boy, prepare yourself for a journey of might and challenge. Great things are in store for you." His tone returned to normal. "No, none of that nonsense. Save that crap for the fairies. Child, you are going to have a miserable life. Every warlock has a miserable life. You are no different. You are not special, and the only reason I am gracing you with my presence is out of boredom and embarrassment. You are an embarrassment to us all. You will be coming with me, and by the end of this night, you will commit atrocities and obtain some real magic, or by the end of this night, you will be dead. Either way, I will be satisfied." Thyme had his jaw open, speechless. Raziel extended his hand, slowly closing the boy's mouth. "Ah, so you believe me then. Rule number 1. Never believe anything a demon or even a half-demon says." Raziel grabbed Thyme's hand, yanking him up. His weak knees caused him to collapse. Raziel allowed him to fall to the floor, amused by the boy's weak nature. "The path to power is..." "Boy, stand up when I'm talking to you. It's rude." Thyme scrambled to stand up. "Now then, I was saying, before I was so rudely disrespected by your laziness, the path to power is a trying, ugly, and vile process." "So, I'm gonna murder people tonight?" "Don't interrupt me, boy." Raziel had his fingers pointing at Thyme threateningly. He relaxed his finger, then continued, "We cannot make you murder or do evil." "If my options are murder or be killed, then I am killing in self-defense. How is that evil?" Raziel's eyes remained still. Inside his mind, he was taken aback by the boy's intelligence. "Well, you do not let anyone tell you that you are stupid. A rather bright lad you are for the youngest warlock. We do love intelligence on our side. If we forced you to commit evil, it would not charge your magic. If your only motivation for charging your magic is self-preservation, then you will gain no magic whatsoever." Then how am I to take the path to power if I..." Raziel smacked Thyme. "You interrupted me a second time. Stay quiet until I tell you to speak." Raziel paused, giving Thyme a chance to talk. He said nothing. Raziel nodded his satisfaction. "He can be taught. We go now." The darkness in the room swirled, vortexing around these two, moving ever closer in the blink of an eye until they were engulfed and vanished. "Oh, you're gonna like this. You've never teleported with our magic before. You are in for a treat." Thyme knew that Raziel really meant this will terrify and hurt you with his words. Thyme shut his eyes as tight as he could. In response, Raziel snapped his fingers, forcing Thyme to open his eyes wide uncontrollably at the sight that formed before them. Their bodies moved swiftly through a dark, groundless place. Flashes of skeletal bodies, mutilated people, tortured souls, and far more horrific things constantly came and went as they flew through whatever hell they traversed. "This, my pupil, is hell itself, or at least that is as good a word as any to describe the place we must go through in order to instantly go to any far-off place, though instantly is as close to a word to best describe the time spent." They continued to fly as jet speed through the world of darkened horrors. "This is where our magic comes from." The screams of the denizens from all around were too much to bear, and Thyme could not close his eyes, nor could he shut out the tortured souls' voices. Then it all ended abruptly. They were on the sidewalk. Thyme spun around, darting his head in every direction. "What? Where are we?" It took 5 seconds to get an understanding of his surroundings. They were still in the city. The familiar sidewalk and surrounding buildings and even streets caused him contort his face in confusion. Thyme looked up at the building directly next to himself and Raziel. What? We teleported the street? But why? We could have just walked. Raziel chuckled, not answering the question. Well, take a cab. He extended his hand to hail such a vehicle. Thyme was still voicing his complaints. Raziel laughed. I can still see my window. You literally dragged me to hell for amusement. Raziel was not one to explain himself to anyone. As a half-demon, he outranked every warlock. He was, however, outranked by every demon. He is, always was, and should always be stuck in a strange limbo, hovering over the humans while being stuck under the thumb of any demon's whims. He took the opportunity to vent his frustrations in any fashion he saw fit. However, this teleport was not without purpose. This purpose was one that he would not reveal to Thyme, but Raziel needed to ensure that no angel or servant thereof was capable of continuing to watch Thyme. Both sides had their eyes on this powerless warlock. This short trek through hell has averted the eyes of the good guys. End of chapter 7.